The war was over. That was what everyone kept saying. But to Jake Miller, standing in the ruins of the alien city, it did not feel over at all. He walked through the broken streets alone. His boots made crunching sounds on the purple glass that was everywhere. The glass used to be beautiful buildings. Now it was just sharp pieces on the ground. The air smelled like smoke and something sweet, like flowers dying. Jake was 28 years old. He had been a soldier for 6 years. He had seen things that would stain his dreams forever. But this was different. This was the capital city of the Valori people. And it was destroyed. The Valori had started the war. Everyone knew that. They had attacked human colonies without warning. They had killed millions of people. Jake had lost friends. He had lost his younger brother, Tommy. He had every reason to hate the Valori. But standing here, looking at the destruction, he felt only tired. His radio made a small sound. "Miller, what is your position?" It was Captain Davis. "Sector 7, Jake said. "Near the old palace. Find anything?" Jake looked around. Bodies lay in the streets. Some were soldiers. Some were not. "Nothing alive," he said. "Keep searching. Command wants to know if there are any survivors. We need to count them for the records." Jake understood what that meant. The records. The politicians back on Earth wanted to know how many Valori were left. Some people wanted to help the survivors. Other people wanted to make sure there were no survivors at all. He kept walking. The palace was ahead of him. It was still standing, but barely. One whole side had fallen down. The purple stone was black from fire. Jake remembered seeing pictures of this place before the war. It had been beautiful. The Valori queen had lived here with her family. The queen was dead now. Her whole government was dead. The Valori had lost everything. Jake climbed over some fallen stones and went inside. It was dark. He turned on the light on his gun and looked around. The floors were covered with dust and broken things. Paintings had fallen from walls. Furniture was smashed. Then he heard something. He stopped moving. He stopped breathing. He pointed his gun toward the sound. It came again. A small sound. Like someone crying but trying to be quiet. Jake moved slowly toward it. His heart was beating fast. Even though the war was over, danger was everywhere. Some Valori soldiers had not surrendered. They hid in the ruins and attacked humans who came too close. The sound came from behind a large piece of fallen wall. Jake went around it carefully, his finger on the trigger of his gun. What he saw made him lower his weapon. It was a Valori female. She was young, maybe the same age as Jake in human years. Her skin was pale blue, like the sky on a winter morning. Her hair was long and silver, but it was dirty and tangled now. She wore torn clothes that had once been fine and expensive. She was trapped. A heavy stone beam lay across her legs. She could not move. When she saw Jake, her eyes went wide with fear. Valori eyes were large and purple. They showed emotions very clearly. Right now, they showed terror. "Please," she said. Her voice was soft and shaking. "Please make it quick." Jake just stared at her for a moment. "Make what quick?" "My death." Tears ran down her blue face. "I know what you do to survivors. Just make it fast. That is all I ask." Jake felt something twist in his chest. What had the Valori been told about humans? What lies had their government spread? "I am not going to kill you," he said. He put his gun away and walked closer. She tried to move back but could not. "Then what?" she asked. "What will you do?" "I am going to help you." She did not believe him. He could see it in her eyes. But he did not care. He started looking at the beam that trapped her. It was heavy. Very heavy. But Jake was strong, and he had moved heavy things before. He put his hands under the beam and lifted. His muscles screamed. His face turned red. But he did not stop. Slowly, the beam moved. Just enough for her to pull her legs free. She moved fast, crawling backward until she hit a wall. Then she sat there, staring at him like he was something she did not understand. "Your legs," Jake said. "Are they broken?" She looked down at them. They were badly bruised, but seemed to work. "No, I do not think so." "Good." Jake sat down on a piece of rubble. He was tired. So tired. "What is your name?" She did not answer at first. She just watched him. Finally, she spoke. "Why do you want to know?" "Because I just saved your life. I think I have the right to know your name." For a long moment, she was quiet. Then, "Sora. My name is Sora. I am Jake." He nodded at her. "Nice to meet you, Sora." She made a sound that might have been a laugh or might have been a sob. "Nice to meet you? Your people destroyed my world. My family is dead. I was waiting to die. And you say nice to meet you? Would you prefer I said something else?" Sora shook her head. "I do not understand you. I do not understand humans at all." Jake smiled. It was a sad smile. "That makes two of us. I do not understand humans either most of the time." He stood up and held out his hand. "Can you walk?" She looked at his hand like it was a strange thing. "Why are you helping me?" "Because the war is over," Jake said. "And I am tired of death." Sora hesitated. Then, slowly, she reached out and took his hand. Her fingers were cool against his skin. He helped her stand up. "Where will you take me?" she asked. "There is a medical camp outside the city. They are helping Valori survivors. You will be safe there." "Safe." She said the word like she had never heard it before. I do not know what that means anymore. Jake understood that feeling. He understood it very well. "Neither do I," he said honestly. "But maybe we can figure it out." They walked out of the palace together. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and red, like fire. But for the first time in a long time, Jake felt like something new was beginning. He did not know it yet, but this was the start of everything. The medical camp was loud and crowded. Hundreds of Valori survivors were there. Some were hurt badly. Others just had nowhere else to go. Human doctors and soldiers moved between them, giving food and medicine. Jake walked with Sora through the camp. She stayed close to him. Her eyes moved everywhere, watching everything. She was scared. Jake could see that. But she was also proud. She held her head high even when other Valori looked at her with confusion. "Why do they stare at me?" Sora whispered. Jake looked at the other Valori. They were dressed in simple clothes, torn and dirty from the war. But Sora's clothes, even though they were damaged, were clearly expensive. The fabric was fine. There was gold thread in the edges. "Your clothes," Jake said. "You are not like them. You are from the palace." Sora's face changed. She looked afraid. "That is bad?" "I do not know." Jake was honest. "Some of your people might blame the palace for the war." "For what happened?" "I had nothing to do with the war. I was just—" She stopped talking. She looked down at the ground. "Just what?" But she did not answer. A human doctor came to them. Her name was Dr. Kim Lisa. She was a small woman with kind eyes and tired hands. She had been working for 3 days without sleep. "Another one?" She looked at Sora. "What happened to her?" "She was trapped in the palace," Jake said. "Her legs were under a beam. I do not think anything is broken, but she should be checked." Dr. Kim nodded. "Come with me," she said to Sora. "I will look at you." Sora looked at Jake. There was something in her eyes. Fear, yes, but also something else. She did not want him to go. "I will be here," Jake said. "I am not leaving." He did not know why he said that. He should leave. He should go back to his unit and forget about this Valori female. His job was done. He had saved her. Now she was someone else's problem. But he stayed. An hour passed. Jake sat on a wooden box and watched the camp. He saw human soldiers sharing food with Valori children. He saw a Valori mother crying while a human nurse held her baby. He saw enemies becoming something else. Not friends. Not yet. But not enemies anymore either. Soldier. Jake looked up. A man was standing in front of him. He wore the uniform of a commander. His name tag said Collins. Sir. Jake stood up and saluted. At ease. Commander Collins looked at him with sharp eyes. You brought in a survivor from the palace? Yes, sir. Do you know who she is? Jake shook his head. She told me her name is Sora. The commander laughed. But it was not a happy sound. Sora. That is what the princess would say. Her full name is Sora Veltaran. She is the daughter of the dead queen. She is the princess of the Valori people. Jake felt his stomach drop. A princess? The only member of the royal family still alive. Commander Collins crossed his arms. This is a problem, soldier. A problem? How? There are people back on Earth who want revenge. They lost family in the war. They want someone to pay. And now we have a princess. A symbol of everything the Valori did to us. Jake understood. You think they will hurt her? I think there will be pressure to put her on trial. To make her answer for the war. Even though she is young. Even though she probably had nothing to do with the decisions that were made. That is not fair. War is not fair. The commander sighed. But there is another option. Some people in the government want peace. Real peace. They think the princess could help. If she works with humans, if she shows that Valori and humans can live together, it could change things. So what happens to her? That depends. Commander Collins looked at Jake carefully. She seems to trust you. She asked for you 3 times while the doctor was checking her. Jake did not know what to say. I have a job for you, the commander continued. An important one. I want you to protect her. Stay with her. Help her adjust to her new life. She will be moved to a safe location on Earth. You will go with her. Me? Why me? Because you saved her life. Because she trusts you. And because I have read your file. You are a good man, Miller. You did not let the war make you hard. That is rare. That is exactly what we need right now. Jake thought about Tommy, his brother. Tommy had always said that Jake was too soft. That his kindness would get him killed one day. But here he was, still alive. And maybe that kindness was worth something after all. I will do it, Jake said. The commander nodded. Good. She is waiting for you. Jake found Sora in the medical tent. She was sitting on a small bed. Her legs were bandaged. The doctor had cleaned her face and given her new clothes. Simple clothes, like everyone else wore now. But she still looked like a princess. Jake. She said his name with relief. I thought you left. I told you I would stay. Yes, you did. She looked at him differently now. The doctor told me what you did. She said you could have killed me. You could have left me there. But you did not. No, I did not. Why? Jake sat down across from her. I do not know. I have been asking myself that question. Maybe because I am tired of death. Maybe because I saw something in you that reminded me that not everyone is an enemy. Or maybe I just did what felt right. Sora was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke. I know you talked to your commander. I know he told you who I am. Yes. And you are still here. Yes. You are very strange. Jake Miller. But she was almost smiling when she said it. I have been told that before. Jake smiled back. So, Princess, it seems I am going to be your protector now. How do you feel about that? I am not a princess anymore. My kingdom is gone. My family is dead. I am just Sora now. Okay then. Just Sora. How do you feel about having a strange human as your protector? She thought about it. Really thought about it. I think I feel afraid. And confused. And a little bit hopeful. Which is strange, because I did not think I could feel hope anymore. Jake nodded. That is fair. I feel the same way. You do? Yes. The war took a lot from me too. My brother. My friends. My belief that things could ever be good again. He looked at her. But maybe we can help each other find those things again. Hope. Goodness. A reason to keep going. Sora's purple eyes were wet with tears. But she did not cry. She just reached out and took Jake's hand, like he had done for her in the palace. Maybe we can, she said softly. Outside, the sun had gone down completely. The stars were coming out. Somewhere in that sky, Earth was waiting. A whole new world. A whole new life. Jake did not know what would happen next. He did not know if they could really build peace between humans and Valori. He did not know if the people who wanted revenge would try to hurt Sora. But he knew one thing for certain. He would protect her. No matter what it took. Earth was beautiful and terrifying. Sora stood at the window of the small apartment and looked out at the city. Buildings reached up toward the gray sky. Flying vehicles moved between them like insects. Millions of humans lived here, walking through streets, going to work, living their lives. She had never seen anything like it. It is a lot to take in, Jake said. He stood beside her, watching her face. I remember feeling the same way the first time I saw a Valori city. When was that? During the war. We captured a small town on one of your colony worlds. Jake's voice was quiet. It was empty. Everyone had already left. But the buildings were still standing. They were so different from ours. All curves and colors. I remember thinking that the people who built this must be very different from us. Were we? Jake thought about it. In some ways, yes. In other ways, no. You eat. You sleep. You love your families. You want to be happy. That is the same as us. Sora turned away from the window. She had been on Earth for 2 weeks now. 2 weeks of hiding in this small apartment with Jake as her protector. 2 weeks of learning about humans and their strange world. It was harder than she expected. The gravity on Earth was stronger than on her home world. Her body felt heavy all the time. The food was different. The air smelled different. And everywhere she went, people looked at her with fear or hate. She was the enemy. Even though the war was over. Even though she had done nothing wrong. To the humans, she was still the enemy. There is something I need to tell you, Jake said. Sora felt her heart beat faster. When humans said those words, it usually meant bad news. She had learned that quickly. What is it? Tomorrow you will meet with some government officials. They want to talk to you about the peace process. About what role you can play. What role can I play? I am nobody now. That is not true. Jake sat down on the small couch. The apartment was simple. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, a small kitchen, and this living room. Nothing like the palace she grew up in. But Sora did not mind. She had lost the right to want nice things. You are a symbol, Jake continued. To your people, you are the last connection to the old world. To the royal family. If you support peace, if you tell them to work with humans, they will listen. Will they? Or will they hate me for working with the people who destroyed our home? Some will hate you. Some will be grateful. That is how it always is. Sora sat down beside him. Close, but not touching. She had learned that humans had strange rules about touching. They did not touch each other as much as Valori did. For her people, Touching was a way of showing trust. Here, it meant something different. "Jake," she said, "can I ask you something personal?" "Of course. You told me you lost your brother in the war." Jake's face changed. Just for a moment. A shadow of pain moved across it. Then it was gone. "Yes, Tommy. He was younger than me. He joined the military because I did. He wanted to be like me." He laughed, but there was no happiness in it. "I told him not to. I told him to stay home. But he did not listen." "What happened to him?" "A Valori attack. His ship was destroyed. There was nothing left to bury." Jake looked at his hands. "I used to be angry. So angry. I wanted revenge. I wanted to hurt every Valori I could find." Sora felt cold. "And now?" "Now I am just tired. I understand that revenge does not bring anyone back. It just creates more death. More pain." He looked at her. "Is that strange? That I can sit here with you and not feel hate?" "I do not think it is strange," Sora said. "I think it is brave." Jake smiled. A real smile this time. "You might be the first person to call me brave for not wanting to fight." They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Outside, the city kept moving. Millions of lives happening at once. People falling in love, fighting with their families, going to work, making dinner. All of them unaware of the two people in this small apartment, trying to figure out how to build peace. "Tomorrow," Sora said finally. "The meeting. Will you be there? I will be right beside you. I am your protector, remember?" "I remember." She paused. "Jake, do you think they will be kind? The government officials?" "Some of them. Others will try to use you. They see you as a tool, a way to control your people. And what do you see me as?" Jake turned to face her fully. His eyes were serious. "I see you as a person who lost everything and is trying to find her way in a new world. A person who is scared but keeps going anyway. That takes more courage than fighting ever did." Sora felt tears in her eyes. She blinked them away quickly. "You are kind to me, Jake Miller. Kinder than I deserve." "You deserve kindness, Sora. Everyone does. That is something this war made people forget. But it is still true." He stood up and walked to the kitchen. "I will make dinner. You should rest. Tomorrow will be a long day." Sora watched him go. She thought about everything he had said. About kindness. About courage. About not letting hate control your life. Before the war, she had believed what her government told her. That humans were monsters. That they were dangerous and evil. That they wanted to destroy all Valori. Now she knew that was a lie. Humans were just people. Some were good, some were bad. Most were somewhere in between. Just like her people, Jake was good. She knew that now. He had saved her life. He had stayed with her when he did not have to. He was kind when kindness was hard. That she did not know what tomorrow would bring. She did not know if peace was really possible. She did not know if her people would hate her for working with humans. But she knew she was not alone. And for now, that was enough. That night, Sora dreamed of her home. Not the burning ruins, but the home from before. The purple towers reaching toward the sky. The gardens filled with silver flowers. Her mother's voice singing old songs. When she woke up, her face was wet with tears. Jake was in the doorway, looking worried. "Are you okay? I heard you crying." Sora wiped her face. "Just dreams, memories." He nodded. He understood. "Do you want to talk about it?" "Not yet. Maybe someday. Whenever you are ready. I will be here." She believed him. That was the strangest part. After everything she had lost, after everything that had happened, she believed him. Maybe that was what hope felt like. The government building was enormous. White stone walls rose up like mountains. Guards stood at every door. Important people walked through the hallways, talking about important things. Sora felt very small. She walked beside Jake, wearing the simple blue dress that the government had given her. It was meant to make her look friendly, approachable, not like a princess of an enemy people. "Remember," Jake whispered, "just tell the truth. Do not let them make you say things you do not believe. What if the truth is not what they want to hear? Then tell it anyway. That is your strength, Sora. You are honest. Do not lose that." They entered a large room with a long table. 7 humans sat on one side. Some looked kind. Others looked hard and cold. One woman had gray hair and sharp eyes. She was clearly the leader. "Princess Sora," the woman said. "Thank you for coming. I am Director Amy Walsh. Please, sit down." Sora sat. Jake stood behind her, his hand resting on the back of her chair, close enough that she could feel his presence. It helped. "Let me be direct," Director Walsh continued. "There are 2 groups in this government. One group wants peace. Real, lasting peace between humans and Valori. The other group wants punishment. They believe your people must pay for what happened during the war." "I understand," Sora said. Her voice was steady, stronger than she felt. "You could be the key to peace. Your people trust the royal family. If you speak for cooperation, they will listen. You could save millions of lives. And if I refuse?" The director's eyes grew colder. "Then the other group will get their way. There will be more war, more death. Your people are weak now. They would not survive another conflict." Jake's hand tensed on the chair. Sora could feel his anger, but she kept her face calm. "You are threatening me. I am telling you the truth. Politics is not kind, but you have a chance to make a difference. A real difference." A man at the end of the table leaned forward. He was younger than the others. His face was angry. "Why should we negotiate with her at all? Her family started this war. Her mother gave the orders that killed millions of our people." "I was 15 when the war began," Sora said quietly. "I had no power. I made no decisions. I did not even know about the attacks until they had already happened. That does not matter. You benefited from it. You lived in your palace while our cities burned." "That is enough, Congressman Brian Park," Director Walsh said sharply. But the damage was done. Sora could see the hate in his eyes. It was the same hate she had seen in the streets. The hate that followed her everywhere. "May I speak?" she asked. The room went quiet. "I did not choose to be born into the royal family. I did not choose the war. When I was a child, I was told that humans were monsters, that you wanted to destroy us, that the attacks were necessary to protect our people." She paused. "I believe those lies. I am ashamed of that now." She stood up. Her legs felt weak, but she forced herself to stay standing. "The truth is that there were monsters on both sides. My government did terrible things. Your military also did terrible things. War makes monsters of everyone." Congressman Park opened his mouth to argue, but Sora continued. "But I do not believe that humans are monsters. Not anymore. Because I have seen kindness. I have seen a human soldier risk his life to save me when he could have walked away. I have seen doctors heal my people when they could have let them die. I have seen that peace is possible." She looked at Director Walsh. "I will help you. Not because you threaten me. Not because I am afraid. But because I believe it is right. I believe that our peoples can live together. That we can build something better than war." The room was silent. Director Walsh's face was unreadable. Then, slowly, she smiled. "Thank you, Princess Sora. That is exactly what we needed to hear." The meeting continued for 2 more hours. They talked about plans and speeches and public appearances. Sora would travel to Valori refugee camps and speak to her people. She would appear on human news broadcasts. She would be the face of peace. It was exhausting. When it was finally over, Jake walked her out of the building. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink, like the skies on her home world. "You did well," Jake said. "I feel like I sold my soul." "No, you made a choice. A hard choice. There is a difference." They walked in silence for a while. Then Sora stopped. "That man, Congressman Park, he will never accept peace. Probably not. There will be others like him. On both sides." "Yes." Sora looked at Jake. "Do you think we can really do this? Though peace with so many people fighting against it?" Jake thought about it carefully. "I do not know," he admitted. "But I think we have to try. Because the alternative is more war. More death. And I'm tired of that. So am I." They started walking again. The city moved around them. Lights were coming on in buildings. People were going home to their families. Life continued even after war. Even after loss. "Jake," Sora said, "thank you for standing with me today. I do not think I could have done it alone." "You were not alone. You will never be alone. Not while I am here." She believed him. She really did. But that night, something happened that changed everything. Zeus, High was sleeping when she heard the sound. Glass breaking, footsteps, voices whispering. Then Jake's voice, loud and commanding. "Stay back. I am armed." Sora ran to the living room. 3 people were there, wearing black masks. They had weapons. Jake was standing between them and the bedroom door, protecting her. "Give us the alien," one of them said. "We do not want to hurt you, soldier. But we will if we have to. You are not touching her. She is a war criminal. She deserves to die for what her people did. She is not a criminal. She is innocent. No Valori is innocent." The first shot was fired. Jake moved faster than Sora thought possible. He knocked the gun away and fought the attacker. The other 2 rushed forward. Sora screamed. The fight was brutal and short. Jake was trained. He was strong. But there were 3 of them, and one of them had a knife. When it was over, the attackers were on the ground, unconscious or groaning in pain. But Jake was on his knees. His hand was pressed to his side. Blood was seeping through his fingers. "Jake." Sora ran to him. "I am okay," he said. But his face was pale. "It is not deep. I will be fine." Sora did not believe him. She grabbed her communication device and called for help. Then she held Jake's hand and prayed to gods she was not sure existed anymore. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Please stay with me." Jake smiled weakly. "I told you. I am not going anywhere." 1 year later, everything was different. Sora stood on a stage in front of 10,000 people. Half of them were human. Half of them were Valori. They stood together, side by side, under a bright blue sky. Behind her was a monument. A tall pillar of white stone with names carved into it. The names of everyone who died in the war. Human and Valori. There was no separation. No enemies here. Just people who had been lost. 1 year ago, Sora said into the microphone, "I stood in the ruins of my home. I thought my life was over. I thought there was nothing left but pain and death." The crowd was silent, listening. Then a human soldier found me. He could have killed me. He could have left me to die. Instead, he saved my life. He showed me that kindness still existed. That hope was still possible. She looked to the side of the stage, where Jake was standing. He wore a formal suit now, not a military uniform. The scar on his side was hidden under his clothes, but Sora knew it was there. She would never forget the night she almost lost him. That soldier is standing here today. His name is Jake Miller. And he is the reason I am alive. He is the reason I believe in peace." The crowd began to clap, slowly at first, then louder. Thousands of hands coming together. Jake looked embarrassed. He was never comfortable with attention, but he smiled at Sora, and that smile gave her strength. "Peace is not easy," she continued. "There are still people who hate, people who want revenge, people who believe that the only answer is more violence." She paused. "1 year ago, 3 of those people broke into our home and tried to kill me. Jake fought them. He was hurt protecting me." The clapping stopped. The silence was heavy, but we did not give up. We did not run away. We kept working. We kept talking. We kept believing that a better future was possible. She looked out at the crowd, human faces and Valori faces, all looking at her with the same expression: hope, fear, uncertainty, but also something new. Something that had not existed a year ago. Trust. "Today, I am proud to announce that the peace agreement has been signed. Humans and Valori will work together to rebuild what was destroyed. We will share technology. We will share resources. We will build a future where no child has to grow up afraid of war." The crowd exploded with noise, cheering, crying, people hugging each other across species. Lines that used to mean death. Sora stepped back from the microphone. Her part was done. Jake was at her side immediately. "You did it," he said. "We did it. Together." I just stood around and looked serious. "You did the hard work." She laughed. It felt good to laugh. A year ago, she had not thought she would ever laugh again. "Come on," Jake said. "There is something I want to show you." They left the stage through a back exit, away from the crowds and the cameras and the politicians who wanted to shake Sora's hand. Jake led her to a small garden behind the monument. It was quiet here, private. Trees with green leaves provided shade from the sun. Flowers grew in neat rows along a stone path. "What is this place?" Sora asked. "It is called a memory garden. Humans make them to remember people they have lost." Jake walked to a small stone bench and sat down. "I come here sometimes to think." Sora sat beside him. Their shoulders touched. After a year together, touching felt natural, right? "Jake," she said, "what happens now?" "What do you mean?" "The peace agreement is signed. The work is done. You were assigned to protect me. But now..." She did not finish the sentence. She was afraid that Jake was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to face her. "Sora, I was assigned to protect you. That is true. But that is not why I stayed." "Then why?" "Because somewhere along the way, protecting you became the most important thing in my life. Because when I wake up, the first thing I want to see is your face. Because when you are sad, I want to make you smile. Because when you are happy, I feel happy too." Sora's heart was beating so fast. She could barely breathe. "What are you saying, Jake?" "I am saying that I love you, Sora. I do not know when it happened. Maybe it started in those ruins when I first saw you. Maybe it grew slowly over all those months we spent together. But I know it is true. I love you." Tears were running down Sora's face. She did not try to stop them. "I was afraid," she whispered. "I was afraid that when the peace came, you would leave. That you would go back to your old life. That I would be alone again. You will never be alone. I promised you that, remember? I am not going anywhere." Sora reached out and touched his face. His skin was warm under her cool fingers. "I love you too, Jake. I have loved you for a long time. I was just too scared to say it." "You? Scared?" "The woman who stood in front of the entire government and told them the truth. The woman who speaks to thousands of people like it is nothing? That is different. That is politics. This is..." She struggled to find the words. This is my heart. This is everything. Jake took her hand and held it against his chest. She could feel his heartbeat, fast and strong. Then let us be scared together, he said, and brave together, like we have always been. He leaned forward and kissed her, soft and gentle and perfect. Around them, the garden was peaceful. Birds sang in the trees. The sun was warm on their skin. Somewhere in the distance, the crowd was still celebrating. But here, in this quiet moment, there was only the two of them. The war was over. The peace had begun. And Sora finally understood what hope really meant. It meant having someone to build a future with. It meant love. Later that evening, they walked through the city together. People recognized Sora. They smiled at her. Some reached out to shake her hand. A few even thanked her, but she barely noticed. She was too busy looking at Jake, at the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, at the way he held her hand like he would never let go. Where do we go from here? She asked. Wherever we want. The whole galaxy is open to us now. Then let us go everywhere. Let us see everything. Together. Jake laughed. That might take a while. Good, Sora said. I want it to take forever. And as they walked into the sunset, two people from two different worlds, hand in hand, Sora knew that this was just the beginning. The best beginning she could have ever imagined.